These are pins. Okay, 2 pins. So we're going to join the binding, and I'm going to cut off a little piece of this. We're going to overlap the binding pieces the width of the seam of the binding itself. So we've got an overlap and an overlap. Both pieces laying flat here. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the binding. I'm kind of in the middle of the seam. This is picked out to here. This is open to here. So that piece is going to go in the center, and that's my measure. The overlap is always the width of the binding. Okay, so I'm going to cut this top piece. This is the scary part. Top piece is cut like that, and I did not get very accurate cut, did I? There you go. And now the piece underneath is going to get cut here to that pin. All right, so I can take this and I can put it right up to the pin, just like that. So this, I want to cut to here, that tail off. So now my overlap, this piece and this piece is exactly the width of the binding, okay? So now I'm going to open this one up and this one up and lay them down here, overlapping each other. And this is where it's nice to have a little extra room here. I pin stitch it first. Here's the point of the bottom piece of binding. I'm going to go pin stitch it, line it up here, pin stitch it, and this way I can make sure I've folded everything in the right direction. So we know we haven't got a pretzel, that we pinned everything in a pretzel. So I'm going in the right direction. So now, as I've overlapped, the one on the piece on the left goes down, the piece on the right goes across it. And then you're going to pin from this direction. It won't work that way. It's got to go this way. That's why you pin, press it first. Because whenever you get cocky, that's when it's not going to work. So now this is not very straight, and I'm going to go ahead and even that out here. Put my pins in going across. There's this corner of that one. Put a third pin in because it always buckles in the middle. And here I will take a straight edge and draw that line. It's very, very difficult to see where you're going. So I'm on this side here, and whoop, we need a little more slack there. There's the bottom part, right? I want to draw from that point to that point. That's close enough. Okay, so let's get all this out of the way so you can stitch that. So I'm going to take this under the sewing machine, rotate everything around. This is why you need to leave yourself plenty of room to work. If it's too small a spot, it's about as tough as you can get. Try to straighten it all out and stitch that. It is the bias, so it'll be a little stretchy. And I'd roll the needle down into the corner before I pull that pin out. Okay, now you're going to take your pins out and double check that everything's right. Okay, this looks great. It fits flat. There's no pucker in there. So now that we've double checked it, now you cut the tail off. and you're going to press that open so it sits very, very flat. Okay, so you can just finger press this. Press it open and now fold it flat, and it should fit exactly right. Put a couple of pins in there and then just stitch it across, and it's absolutely invisible.
Hey Danielle, does Mary's really into sports, isn't she?
Okay, excellent, excellent. If you're finding that when you're sewing your binding, it's being pushed along in front, here's another pin here, make your stitch longer.
Okay.
Your stitch should be 3.0, 3.5, because it has all those layers to go through. The smaller, the shorter the stitch, more it pushes that wave in front of it. Looks great.